Go over alleles, and every organism, myself, your cat, a dog, every organism that's living has an allele, and they have 2 alleles for each trait that they have. Okay, so 2 for each trait. Okay, traits are like your eye color or your hair color, etc. How tall you are. Tall versus short. Okay? Each allele has 2 for each trait. Okay? And so we're going to learn those 2 types of alleles are dominant versus recessive. Dominant, I like to think as they dominate over the recessive. So if when they're paired together, if you have a dominant and a recessive allele paired up, the dominant will always win. Okay, dominant alleles we always express our alleles with the alphabet to represent them. So for dominant, we always use capital letters. That could be a capital F, capital A, capital B, capital T. It needs to be a capital letter that you're not going to get confused with the lowercase letters. So here, recessive would be paired up with a little f, a little a, a little b, and a little t. Okay. Now, there's 3 types of recessive pairings, or not recessive, 3 types of allele pairings. You can end up with I'll use F, capital F, okay, which will be dominant, right? Because these are dominant. You can also have capital F, lowercase f, which is dominant recessive, which will, what I said, it will end up being dominant because if there's a dominant paired with a recessive, dominant, recessive, you're going to have a dominant. Okay? Dominant, dominant. And then you can also end up with little f, which will obviously be recessive. Recessive equals recessive. Okay, it's the only way you can have recessive genes is when they're both lowercase. So they're much more rare than dominant. Now, moving on, let's see this in action. Let's do an example. We have a dominant trait for brown eyes. So say both parents have dominant allele for brown eyes. But they also hold the recessive trait for blue eyes. Okay, so it is possible to have a blue-eyed child, much more rare though, but most likely they will have brown eyes. Now, knowing this, let's assign any letter of the alphabet. I'm going to do B. Okay, so knowing that my dominant has to be a capital letter, I'm going to do capital B for dominant and lowercase b for recessive. Okay, the 3 type of pairings that you can have a big B, which will equal what? Which will equal brown eyes. Okay, so let me draw over here. You will end up with brown eyes in this example. The next pairing that you can end up having would be big B, little b. Well, knowing that our dominant always wins over our recessive will automatically be a brown eye color. Hopefully this is making sense to you guys so far. Then our last pairing we can have is little lowercase, right? So little b will equal what? Will equal, that's also recessive will equal the recessive eye color blue. So the only way a recessive allele trait can be expressed is when it is both recessive. Whenever there is a dominant allele, the dominant trait will always show. Okay, I hope that helps.